Hello, my beautiful merriment makers. It's Mary here, your resident joy trickster, glitter guerrilla art maker, and professional merriment maker, reminding you that you are allowed to feel good for no reason at all. Welcome back to the Merriment Making Podcast, where we stop waiting for permission to live fully alive with absurdity, and we are starting to create our own meaning, our own delight, and our own good news. Today, we are talking about two of my very favorite things, solo dates and joy missions, and specifically how to do both of those things at the same time. So if you've ever thought I should really spend time with just me, but how do I even do that? What would I even do? Or I would love to participate in the 11K Acts of Merriment project, but I don't really even know where to start, then buckle up, because this episode is your guide and permission slip, and quite possibly your next adventure map. So let's start with why even date yourself? Treating yourself like someone worth taking out is foundational joy work. And yeah, I know that going out can feel very uncomfortable at first. It was for me too. We are conditioned to think that doing anything in public alone is weird or sad or something to be fixed, although I do think that we're getting better at reframing that. But it's still just social programming talking to us. And the thing is that when you schedule time to be with yourself without distractions and without performing for anybody, something beautiful really begins to shift. You listen to yourself differently, and you get to move at the speed of your own curiosity, and you become the main character in your own movie again. You don't have to appease anyone's food allergies or their desires or insecurities or temperature desires or anything. You just get to do everything that you want to do on your own. It's like dating your own soul. You get to ask, what do I like? What makes me giggle? What have I been craving? And if you're someone who asks this in general, like, who am I? How do I feel more like myself? How do I get back to myself? What is my purpose? What makes me happy? Then this is a really important step to beginning that process. It's on its feet. It's not just a journaling activity. You get to go out and experience life. You get to find out exactly what you like, what your preferences are in real time. And you get to ask yourself, maybe most importantly, what if I stopped waiting for someone else to make life beautiful for me? That's what solo dates do. They make joy an inside job, which, as we know, is really the heart of merriment making. Okay, so let's break down solo dating in a way that feels doable. I have 5 solo date principles that I wrote, probably almost 12, 13 years ago, and they are a framework that you can steal from me immediately. Number 1 is to set the date like it's sacred. That means to put it in your calendar. I want you to block out the time. Use pen, not pencil. First of all, I actually don't even have pencils in my house. I think I have one in case there's a visitor. But my answer always, in general, to pencils, and this is more of a life hack, is I don't have them. I don't like them. I believe in being confident enough to pen it in, not pencil it in, because you're unavailable, because you're with you, okay? Put this in your calendar, like a doctor's appointment, like you're picking your kids up from school. This is non-negotiable. The second thing is to match your activity to your comfort zone. So when you're first starting out, you might definitely not be ready to have dinner alone at a nice restaurant. The first time that I ate out alone, I was scared to death. So maybe you want to go shopping alone at a thrift store first. And if you are already more comfortable in your own skin, then you can have that full-ass banquet table for one, But really just kind of assess your comfort zone first. The next step for number 3 is to plan the vibe, not the whole script. So in general, when I plan anything, when I'm traveling or doing a solo date, I create a framework. But then I am very willing and open to the idea that I am going to meander. I'm going to magpie. I'm going to allow myself to deviate from that plan. If I don't find anything interesting, then I can always go back to the plan. But it's completely okay to never check anything off of my plan. So you do need a starting point. It's not something that's like a syllabus that, like I said, you have to go off every single thing. But you can start with, I'm going to take myself to a fun bookstore, and then you can incorporate wandering time into it. Or you can have the bookstore starting and then a walk and then the movie and then the snack. You can have these activities lined up and then be open to looking around, wandering, being curious, staying spontaneous, and being open to what feels good in your body. Part of the solo date is that you are constantly kind of being aware of what feels very good to you the whole time. So you're not, like I said, appeasing anyone else. So there's really no point to do something that doesn't feel good at any time during the solo date. If you want to go back to the car and get another hoodie for the third time, you can. It doesn't matter. You just have to be aware of your body, and this is a really great way to continue to practice the art of embodiment. The fourth tip is to turn your phone off or put it in airplane mode. I love taking pictures. I think that's part of my solo date fun. But if you're not someone that likes to document things, then this doesn't need to be a content opportunity. It can be a connection opportunity. You can have your phone with you, but not need to be on it. The whole point of the phone off aspect is to make sure that you are engaging in your own date. Treat yourself the way that you would want to be treated. I know it's weird that it's you that you're the one in the relationship with, but imagine what it would be like if you were on a date with someone else and you were always on your phone. Maybe you're not talking out loud to yourself, although you absolutely can, I do, but you do want to continue to have the active thought process. You want to be able to have that ability to be self-aware. I've talked about how a lot of times we lack the ability to even become self-aware because we are constantly on autopilot. We are constantly taking in other stimulus. So going on a solo date is such a great way for you to disconnect, for you to not be constantly listening to another podcast or a new audiobook or texting or listening to things on social media or scrolling or anything like that. If you are like me, like I said, and want to take pictures of things, that's okay. Turn your phone into a camera, but do not just use a solo date as a way to go outside and be on your phone. That's not what this is. And the fifth pillar to make this all feel less weird and more wonderful as Solo Dating 101 is to reflect afterwards. Maybe you can do it in journaling or a voice memo or out loud to yourself or to your partner or a friend, but I want you to think about what happened. Ask yourself, what did I love? What surprised me? How did I feel even just being seen alone? What was too uncomfortable? What do I not want to do next time? And then you can incorporate that into your next date. And as you get more confident, you get to update pillar number 2 of matching the activity to your comfort zone because your confidence level is going to increase. And part of this reflection is kind of giving yourself feedback and input so that you can match the activity to your comfort zone for next time. A solo date is a test run for your own sovereignty, which is kind of a dramatic way of saying it just is teaching you that you are enough. Okay, so for my joyful side questers, let's talk about the 11K Acts of Merriment project. So if you somehow haven't heard me talk about this yet or just need a reminder, this is where I am asking people all over the world as part of a social joy experiment to do acts of merriment, kindness, absurdity, fun, and make happiness look like them. It can be things like leaving love notes in libraries and sticking googly eyes on fruit and blowing bubbles outside and writing chalk notes on sidewalks. It doesn't need to be a traditional act of kindness, although it obviously can. It's just about creating fun and getting off autopilot and spreading joy to other people, because I genuinely believe that the data will prove that when someone follows or sees or does something in the vein of joy, that the world is changing in real time. So in less than a year, the 11,000 moments of proof will show that the world is actually still falling in love with our own good news. And that's the whole mission. So if you want to to contribute, you can do this yourself. And I am recording this on November 3rd, 2025. And while I have my own personal mission to do 11,000 acts, we actually have reached almost 9,000 from submissions altogether. It's insane. We still have until June to reach our total goal, but that's how many people have been submitting their own acts, from just a one micro mission of holding open a door to me being connected with people who are doing larger scale missions. It's incredible. So you get to add your own missions to the Joy Tracker at uncustomary.org/11k tracker. And you can also see the spreadsheet being updated at uncustomary.org/11k tracker. And every kindness mission, every absurd little act, every smile that you cause counts. And if you're thinking, okay, Mary, but how do I do this if I'm embarrassed or I'm unsure or I'm stuck in my house? I'm really glad that you asked, because that's what's bringing me to combining solo dates and joy acts. Your solo date can be your joy mission, and better yet, it can be your contribution to the 11K project. Also, just to be clear, you can contribute as many times as you'd like. So imagine that you are at a diner with a stack of blank postcards and you order pancakes for one and you're sipping your iced coffee and you're spending 20 minutes writing anonymous love notes to strangers. Okay, so boom, we've done a solo date. Boom, we've done an act of merriment. Boom, we've contributed to a global movement. That's a triple boom. Also, let's not even dismiss the fact that it's giving you something to do. Having that feeling of not being alone completely, you have an activity to do. It's just this overall wonderful combination. You could also decide to go on a walk in your city and take photos of unexpected smiles you find, or flowers in sidewalk cracks, or kids on scooters, or the weird ceramic cat sculpture outside the thrift store. That's not just a solo date, it's an invitation to demonstrate to others the way that you see the world. You could go to a movie alone and leave a sticky note that says, "You deserve to take yourself out today, and I'm proud of you." You don't know who's going to find it, but you know that it might help, and that counts. The point is that joy is not passive, it is generative, which makes your alone time fuel for a global experiment. And this becomes revolutionary. So whether your solo adventure is quiet or silly or creative or reflective or full-on maximalist, you can always add an act of joy. You can leave something behind, you can pay attention, you can document something to show to other people, you can perform an act of tiny kindness, and you can submit what you did to the Joy Tracker. You and joy equals part of 11,000 acts of ripples into the world. So if you are ready to dip your toe into this combo meal of joy and self-love, then your mission is to pick a solo date, then go out and do a tiny act of merriment during that date, submit it at uncustomary.org/11k submission, and then watch the live joy tracker grow. Remember that it doesn't matter if one person sees it or 100 people see it. You are helping change the norm. For a full list of 50 ideas of different kinds of solo dates that you can go on, you can check out the Positive Pulse, and I will include that list plus a bunch of extra bonuses as a part of this podcast. You can also follow @MerrimentMaker on Instagram, and you can share this episode with someone who might need permission to fall in love with their own company or a way to upgrade their own solo dates because you know they're already doing it, so maybe this is a way to up-level. We can reach 11,000 acts together with one sticker, one chalk note, and one dinner at a time. Also, I would love it if you left me a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It helps other people find me. And the more people find me, the more people can contribute to our giant, generative, social joy experiment of merriment. That's it for today's episode, my brilliant bishops of joy. I hope you leave this podcast not just believing that you are dateable, but realizing that you're irresistible to your own spirit, and that every time you invite joy in, you are also passing it on. You have full permission to take up space, nourish yourself, and leave the world better than you found it. And as always, you have to feel good to do good. I'll see you on the next episode, and don't forget to submit your acts.